You are watching New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green, and we're about to get into a Giants Rumors mailbag, which aired on our live show Wednesday, 4:20, 2 p.m. Eastern. We may be going live next week, so subscribe and have your notifications turned on so you can join us when we go live potentially next week and for the NFL Draft when we're going to go live for picks 5 and number 7. Mr. Palmieri, number 32, getting this one kicked off. How do you think Jones will look for us this year? I'm hoping better than he's looked ever in his NFL career. I like what Brian Daboll did with Josh Allen. There was clear progression year to year. Am I expecting a Josh Allen leap from Daniel Jones in year one? No. But cut down on the turnovers, cut down on the fumbles, play 17 games. Can we go for more than 25 touchdowns? If I see growth every single game from Daniel Jones, I think that's a success. Get better every single game and instill hope into this fan base that you can be the franchise quarterback of this team for the next 5 to 10 years. Because if you struggle this year, you're not going to be wearing Giants blue next year. David O'Connor, do you think we trade down and draft Kaiir Elam or Andrew Booth? I like, between Booth and Elam, I'm a bigger fan of Elam. A little bit longer, a little bit more athletic, and he's really good in a press man type of defense. And that's what Wink's going to run. I think Elam is a guy that's going to end up being taken in the first round. But if he's there at pick 36, I don't think Booth will last at 36. But if Elam's there at 36, I'd be really cool with the Giants picking him. If you have Elam, Adoree Jackson, Aaron Robinson, Rodarius Williams, and all the other guys on this Giants defensive back, I think that's a good step in the process for them to restructure this defensive backfield. NYG for life. Do you think the Giants will trade back or trade up? I think they're more likely, and I guess you're speaking about the first round. I think they're more likely to trade down. I think if you want to trade down, there's definitely a possibility. Joe Shane already said that there's been some teams that he's been on the phone with talking about trading down in the NFL draft. Trading up really doesn't make all that much sense in my opinion. Because who are you going to trade up for? Aiden Hutchinson to the number 1 pick? Do you want a guy like Trayvon Walker? Or maybe you want to trade up for Kayvon Thibodeau? I don't think there's any reason for the Giants to trade up because then you have to sacrifice more picks. Just take the best 2 football players at picks number 5 and number 7. But what do you say? Do you want the Giants to trade down in the NFL draft? Go down and let me know. Type M for move, as in move down. Or you can type S for stay put at picks number 5 or 7. If I had to bet on it right now, I think the Giants stay put at 5 or 7, but I would not be shocked at all if they end up trading down. Elijah, what's up, bro? Appreciate you always watching the vids. The Giants aren't trading Saquon, so what do you think about the 2022 comeback? Look, I hope Saquon Barkley can be the guy that he was his rookie year when he went for 15 total touchdowns, when he had 90 grabs, when he went for like almost 2,000 total all-purpose yards. We want him to be the best back in the NFL. Stats on screen. Good job, Petey. 1,300 on the ground, 91 receptions, 15 total tutties, 5.1 yards per tote. That's what we need out of Saquon Barkley. I understand that he's not a gritty running back that likes to stick his nose in the hole and get the hard yards, but this is someone that could be a game breaker for the New York Giants and someone that I think needs to be able to make big-time plays for this offense, and I think that's going to be possible if they resurrect this offensive line. If you go get Ikem Ekwonu and maybe Tyler Linderbaum falls to 36, I don't think that's unrealistic. Or you get an interior offensive lineman at that spot. Saquon Barkley could have a bounce-back year, and I think he's going to be used more as a receiver this year, so that'll be interesting. Hixie Dust with a $5 super chat. I appreciate you. We're always chopping it up on Twitter and on YouTube. You're in the comment section of every video. This channel thrives off of subscribers like you. We can't do what we do without you. So appreciate you, and thanks for the donation. We'll see. Do the Giants need to draft a tackle with the number 5 and 7? If not, what would you to get 7? And while we're at it, who would you take at 5 without using a tackle? Okay. Do I think they need to take a tackle with number 5 and 7? Look, if you take Ekwonu at 5 and Evan Neal's at 7, I'm cool with taking them both. Move one to right guard, one to right tackle. If not, who would you – I don't understand that. If not, would you to get 7? And while we're at it, who would you take at 5? Okay, if it's not a tackle at 5, I think the pick at 5 is either Sauce Gardner or Kayvon Thibodeau. Because if Ekwonu or Neal are both on the board at 5, and so is Kayvon Thibodeau, just take Thibodeau at 5 and take the guy at 7 that falls that didn't go at pick number 6. Millie Giant, do you believe in Daniel Jones? I do. I do believe in Danny Dimes. Do I think he's ever going to be an MVP? No. Will he ever be a top 5 quarterback? No. Is he ever going to be a top 10 quarterback? No. But I do think he is someone that can man the ship and win you football games. I go back to that Saints game this year where he lit it up in the second half. He led a game-tying drive in the fourth quarter, and then a game-winning drive in overtime. 24 touchdowns his rookie year in 12 games. If I didn't see that, then I wouldn't believe in him, but I do think he could be a solid quarterback, an Alex Smith type of quarterback for the Giants. But what do you say? Is Daniel Jones the franchise quarterback for the New York Giants? Is he going to be the signal caller for the next 10 years? Type go DJ if you're a fan of Danny Dimes and you think he's the guy, or you go down and type no DJ if you think Daniel Jones is spending his last year with the New York Giants. Neal in the best edge rusher period from Mr. Palmieri 32. I agree, and I'm cool with Neal or Ekwonu, and I think you do need an edge rusher. Kayvon Thibodeau at pick number 7, I think is a good pick. Neal in the best edge rusher period. Yeah, I think if you can get Neal and an edge rusher at picks 5 and 7, I'm all cool with that. Should we consider trading Dexter Lawrence? He's going to be a free agent. This is a great question. He's going to be a free agent next year, and we can just get another D tackle later in the draft. Look, his fifth-year option is coming up in a couple of weeks. I think May 2nd is the deadline. And if I'm on this exactly, let me look it up to make sure. His fifth-year option, I'm pretty sure, is worth $10.7 million. And that makes him a top 20 highest paid defensive tackle in the National Football League. Sexy Dexy gets a lot of hate because he doesn't play all 3 downs and he's not a good pass rusher, but he plays over 65% of the snaps for the Giants. So I'm a big fan of Dexter Lawrence. Trading him, though, I don't think it's an unreal idea. If you don't want to ante up and pay him that $10 million in the 5th-year option, sure, go trade him. I think his trade value is probably a 4th or a 5th round pick. You're not going to get a 1st, 2nd, or 3rd. But if you can get a 5th round pick and take one of the dudes out of the SEC, maybe a guy from Georgia in the 5th round, I think it'd be a solid replacement. But I'd probably hold on to Dexter Lawrence. I think he's a good locker room guy, and it's time for the Giants to pay their own players and re-sign someone after their rookie contract. Spaghetti Noodle Gaming. Can the Giants take Neal and Icky at 5 and 7? Look, I think it's a strong possibility. Do I think it ultimately happens? Probably not. But if it did, and you had Andrew Thomas at left tackle, you got a rookie at left guard, you got Feliciano at center, and you got Ekwonu, or you would move Neal to left guard. So you'd have Thomas at left tackle, Ekwonu at left guard, Feliciano at center, Mark Glowinski at right guard, and Evan Neal at right tackle. I think you fix the offensive line with 2 picks. You have 3 guys that were picked in the top 10 in Thomas, Neal, and Ekwonu. Yes, it'd be a big payday in 5 years from now, but it's time for the Giants to address the offensive line and fix it. It's not my plan A to take them at those spots, but if the draft board falls like that, I'm not against it. Make sure to hit that big red button because we got free Giants videos every single day, all off season long. When June and July roll around and there's nothing out there and no YouTube content creators that cover the Giants are making videos, I can promise you we'll still be making videos every single day. So go down, hit that big red button. Help us get to 7.5 thousand subscribers by the time we get to the NFL draft. We're a little over 250 away, but I think we can get there. Show some love. Go down and hit that big red button. Elite 1010, I like that. Eli, Elite, I like it. Will Kenny Golladay have a bounce back season? He better. Because what he did last year, he didn't earn his cheddar. He didn't live up to the bill. 0 touchdowns last year. But I think this is someone that Brian Daboll is going to be able to get the most out of. What we saw in Buffalo, when they traded for Stephon Diggs from the Minnesota Vikings, he built his offense and his offensive attack around Stephon Diggs. He put him in positions to succeed. He put him in spots that he's best at. Kenny Golladay, he's a deep threat. Throw him the ball down the field. Throw him a jump ball. This is someone I think can have a bounce back year, but ultimately it's going to rely on Daniel Jones because I think Golladay has the talent. He's got to stay healthy, and I think the Giants have an offensive coordinator in Mike Kafka or Brian Daboll, who's ever calling the plays, are going to put him in position to succeed. Give me a number. Last year, 0 touchdowns. He led the NFL in touchdowns. I think it was back in 2020. So let me know. How many TDs will Kenny Golladay have this season? I'm hoping at least more than 5. Can you give me 7 touchdowns? I don't think that's too many to ask for, but let me know. How many do you think KG will have next season? We'll see. If we don't take a tackle at 5 or 7, then who are your top picks? So no tackle. Give me Sauce Gardner and Kayvon Thibodeau. In my opinion, you get the best cornerback in the draft, and you get one of the best edge rushers in Kayvon Thibodeau. I have Aiden Hutchinson as my number 1 guy, Kayvon Thibodeau as number 2, but I don't think it would be a surprise to anyone that watches the NFL or covers the NFL if Kayvon Thibodeau in 5 years is a better player than Aiden Hutchinson. I think Thibodeau honestly has the highest ceiling of any edge rusher in this draft, but I also think he might have the lowest floor of anybody. But I'm about taking chances and taking risks. You don't make money with scared money, so give me Thibodeau and Sauce if we don't take an offensive lineman at 5 or 7. Mr. Palmieri, if Daniel Jones progresses, why wouldn't we keep him? He has all the tangibles we need with his legs and arm. Just need to develop. Look, if Daniel Jones plays good this year, and say the Giants, they improve. I'm not going to put a number on the record. If Daniel Jones looks good and plays good, he's going to be back next year. No doubt about it. I mean, if he doesn't play good, they're not just going to let him walk. You don't just let okay or good quarterbacks walk in free agency. Daniel Jones plays good, he'll be back wearing number 8 next year in blue. Sam Lubner, who would you rather have call the plays, OC, Mike Kafka, or Daboll? Look, this is an ongoing talk about the Giants and what's going on with them. It's got to be Brian Daboll. Daboll was hired as a head coach because of what he did as an offensive coordinator, because of what he showed and the way he was able to progress Josh Allen, how he was able to make that Buffalo Bills offense better. Kafka, a great offensive mind. A lot of the ideas in Kansas City came from Kafka. But Daboll, he's a proven play caller. I want him calling the shots for the Giants. COVID-19 84, last question on this mailbag. Should we take a receiver with one of our third-round picks? I think so. I think there's a lot of guys in the third round. Jalen Tolbert is there out of South Alabama. In the third round, I'd take him in a heartbeat. Honestly, I'm not against taking one at 36. If Sky Moore is there, Jahan Dotson, Christian Watson, George Pickens, if one of those guys fall to 36, which I'm sure they will, sometimes you take the best player available. Deebo Samuel, drafted in the second round. A.J. Brown, drafted in the second round. Devontae Adams, he wasn't drafted on day 1 of the NFL draft. You can get an elite wide receiver in pick number 36. Do I think it's a big enough need? No, but we've learned from Joe Shane, he's going to take the best player on the board. So what wide receiver do you want the Giants to draft? Light up the comment section. Give me a name that I probably haven't heard of. I'll continue to do research and scout these players leading up into the draft, so give me some names to look at.